Quelques jours, quelques semaines et même un mois après que cyclone Mathieu ait frappé le pays d'Haïti, notamment Côte-Sud et Grand-Anse, avec deux villes qui sont très affectées dans l'affaire cyclone, on a mentionné ville Okaï, la ville Jérémy, il y a plusieurs autres villes, plusieurs autres communes qui jusqu'à présent très affectées, jusqu'à présent pour joindre aide. Et bien, quelques temps après, nous avons plusieurs organisations, nous remarquons qui sont dans la diaspora, qui ont porté coller, qui ont porté aide humanitaire, qui ont porté medical supply, ça nous relève, articles médicaux, qui ont porté aider les gens en Haïti, les gens qui ont besoin. Nous-mêmes, dans Tele Image, ensemble avec plusieurs autres citoyens, plusieurs leaders dans la communauté, nous-mêmes tout, nous prenons responsabilité, nous en main, comme nous toujours faisons. Nous avons organisé une caravane avec l'assistance du député de Pétionville, l'honorable député Gary Tardieu, avec aide un monsieur comme Hugues Sanon, un ambassadeur de bonne volonté, avec participation de l'autre confrère dans les affaires médias, monsieur Eden Débat, qui lui-même tout a participé, avec équipe technique nous, caméraman nous, Carlos Saint-Elo, et avec monsieur Louis-Jean Claudie, nous te mettons ensemble pour réaliser caravane. Une caravane pour qui ça? Caravane qui te permet que nous porter des dons que nous te joignent dans une organisation qui regagne dans Lancaster, Pennsylvania, qui évalue à plus de 300 000 $ américains. Nous te porter dans ça dans la zone côte-sud. Nous avons délivré aide là. Dans la zone côte-sud, nous avons fait plusieurs villes, plusieurs communes, côté nous avons délivré aide, medical supply, nous avons dans l'hôpital avec centre médical. Et puis ensuite, nous avons distribué, manger avec l'autre article que les gens ont besoin, surtout les gens qui sont sinistrés dans la zone côte-sud. C'est une belle caravane, nous avons dit une caravane qui était un succès grâce à la collaboration, grâce à la coordination, nous avons capables de dire, et le député Gary Tardieu qui était lui-même organisé caravane. Nous avons dit merci, nous avons tiré le chapeau nous bien bas devant le député Gary Tardieu, qui lui-même déjà prend bataille diaspora dans main, et lui-même qui défend l'intérêt diaspora jusqu'à présent dans le Parlement haïtien, nous remarquons ça. De notre côté, pendant que tu es sous place, nous avons eu plaisir de rencontrer plusieurs organisations. C'est comme ça que je vais présenter nos organisations, ça qui est les Farah. Farah, c'est une organisation qui est établie dans le pays depuis 2010, depuis le Angleterre. Des citoyens haïtiens, même avec nous, qui dans la diaspora, ont décidé de rentrer pour aider. Et pendant qu'ils ont aidé, ils ont senti besoin, puis ils ont rester en Haïti, continuer à aider le pays. Parce que même si nous avons frappé là, nous avons fait, vous étiez aide aller. Mais il faut penser à long terme, parce que nous avons toujours besoin, il y a pile besoin et urgence en Haïti dans ce moment. Farah commence à répondre à besoin ça depuis 2010, on peut rappeler. Et dans l'organisation, ça, nous avons rencontré un étranger qui n'est pas même haïtien, un monsieur qui, lui-même, pas peut-être, bon Dieu qui parlait dans le cœur, décidé de rentrer à Haïti depuis lors et rester dans le pays à continuer à aider. Les cyclones ont frappé monsieur ça, qui est Gary Heavin, il restait dans le pays et il mettait à disposition du pays d'Haïti avion. Son monsieur qui a moyen en elle, nous allons qui est lié, nous allons présenter une interview que nous réalisons avec elle. Mais monsieur ça, s'il y a moyen en elle, c'est vrai, il doit faire l'autre bagaille, il était là, il était dans le bel palais, côté lié, dans le ranch, dans le mansion, mais non. Il descend en Haïti, il vient aider, il vient coller serré ensemble avec madame, il vient aider le pays d'Haïti. Mes amis, c'est gros cause nous dire merci pour ça. En anglais, moi considérer que monsieur ça, Gary Heavin, is a gift from God to Haiti. Son cadeau, bon Dieu, vous nous. Pour qualité de travail que monsieur ça a fait, travail humanitaire. Nous allons présenter nos interviews. This is an interview we had with Mr. Gary Heavin. Let's listen to the interview. Of course, the interview is in English. Gary doesn't speak Creole yet. He's learning some Creole. He loves the country, of course. He loves the food and all that. But hey, the Creole, Gary, you got to work on it. Anyway, nous allons voir qui est-ce qui monsieur ça et pour qui ça l'a fait pour le pays d'Haïti. À nous suivre une interview que j'ai plaisir de réaliser avec monsieur Gary Heavin, qui lui-même tout fait partie de l'organisation ça qui est les Farah. Tele Image, while here in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, in a mission to report what's going on after the Hurricane Mathieu, we're now sitting with this gentleman here, Gary Heavin. Gary, welcome to Tele Image.
Thank you, Val.
Now, let's talk about, it's a very interesting story that we're going to tell the people of Haiti and the people around the world, your story, which is the story of someone that came to Haiti and stays here, and that is actually helping the country a great deal. We had the pleasure of flying on your plane yesterday, going to Jeremy, helping the people there. Let's introduce yourself. Who are you and what are you doing in Haiti?
Well, my name is Gary Heavin, and I'm a businessman from Texas. I'm the founder of Curves, a women's fitness brand. And 5.5 years ago, and man, this time has gone by, we responded to the earthquake. And as a pilot and as the owner of aircraft, I immediately flew here and began to bring in doctors, and the goal was to take orphans that have been wounded to the children's hospital. But I ended up coming into the country and meeting some great people that I have been working with now for 5.5 years through the Farah organization. And together we feed a lot of kids. So when the hurricane happened, it was only natural that I would bring my aircraft and come here and do what I could.
That's interesting. So you bring your aircraft and you fly yourself, you pilot yourself?
Well, it's funny, but most Haitians here in Port-au-Prince are not even aware of what's happened to their country. You know, the Western Peninsula was ravaged. It's so bad out at Jeremy, Lacaille, Namari, it's so bad that 90% of the homes lost the roofs. The people who were fairly subsistence, they grew their crops, they had their animals, the crops are gone, their animals are dead, the fruit trees have fallen over. And you're talking about 1 million Haitians right now that have not only lost their homes and don't have access to medical care, but are not going to have anything to eat. We're moving from disaster to potentially famine. And the other concern right now is cholera. And it is beginning to break out. And if we don't catch the cholera, it's going to be a humanitarian disaster that we could have prevented. I'm here to try to save Haitians.
You've been helping and saving. Yesterday we flew with your plane to Jeremy and we bring some humanitarian aid and medical supplies.
Well, the problem with being out on the Western Peninsula, it's about 120 miles. The rescue helicopters cannot fly that far because there's no fuel there. So my aircraft have been the only medical evac for the people who have been hurt in the damage from the hurricane. For example, we've flown multiple little babies into Port-au-Prince and into the hospital system that would not have had any way out. We've flown a 14-year-old little boy with a broken spinal column. Unfortunately, I heard that he died a few days ago. We flew an 82-year-old Haitian man out that had a tibia fracture, compound fracture. The bone was coming out of his leg, and he had been 10 days. And we brought him in, and we know he saved his life. And that's almost an everyday occurrence that we've been doing that. Plus, we're the primary transport of medical personnel, the doctors and nurses that have volunteered. You know, the roads were either impassable or they were unsafe. So we've been transporting all medical people, medical supplies, and even at the Namari airport, it's gradually grown to 4,000 people that we are feeding, and we're their only source of food. So we're flying into the Namari airport as much as 5,000 pounds of food a day to feed those people who would be starving without our help.
Interesting. I know there is some kind of relation between you and the organization Farah. We're going to talk about that. But first and foremost, let's talk about your relationship with the government itself. Are you working with the government? Are they aware of the work that you're doing? Are they helping you, helping the country?
You know, we did have the former Prime Minister, Lamont, fly with us yesterday, and I thanked him for taking the time to go out to Jeremy and deliver food and see for himself. The senator for the area of Namari flew out, and I had a quick meeting with him. So I think they're trying to do what they can. You know, I believe that Haiti's reluctance to declare an emergency, you know, with the elections going on right now, is creating problems, because this is truly an emergency. There are 1 million Haitians whose lives are at risk right now, and the Haiti government has been reluctant to take the step necessary to get aid pouring in here. You know, the U.S. military was here about a week and they're gone. The presence of the UN has been diminished. They're still here, they're still transporting food, but for the most part, they don't transport wounded. They don't, unless it's some really special. We got one transport done. The lady would have probably died if we hadn't accomplished that. The main transport to feed that many people has got to be via a convoy. And you've been hearing about the convoys being attacked. And you know, last night in Namari, the barge was overrun by the mob, and the Haitian federal police were guarding it, and they opened fire and shot 8 citizens, and 2 of them died just last night. And I got an urgent call that the American doctors and nurses wanted out immediately because they felt that there was a large group of the population of Damarie that had become angry, and they felt unsafe. So we have a lot of risk, a lot of concerns that we're going to continue to get aid to people and get them fed, because hungry people can become dangerous.
I like the way you say it. Hungry people can, and indeed they can. Let's talk about Farah, this organization. Introduce Farah to the viewers out there.
Yeah, Farah is an organization that has been providing educational resources to children of Haiti, as well as feeding thousands of children every day. And it's run by a local doctor, Nancy Ferrier. I have trouble with my French, you know.
Nancy Ferrier, I'll say it for you.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, and Nancy and I have been working together for 5.5 years. So this is a long-term relationship. And it's a great organization that people should get behind and support. And I can tell you firsthand that the money is spent on Haitians.
That's good. Good to know. How does the relationship started between yourself and Farah?
Well, when we were flying in doctors 11 days after the earthquake, Nancy was one of our passengers. And she just happened to give us her phone number and let us know if we needed anything. And my wife and I, after a couple of days of flying, we were unable to take orphans back to the Miami Children's Hospital because Obama thought they may be stolen. And my wife said, you know, I'm not going to ride back on an empty plane. I'm going into Haiti. I'm going to stay here. And so we called Nancy, and I don't know if everybody remembers what it was like 11 days after the earthquake, but she showed up, and we got a hold of a truck, and I had the cash, and so we went and bought food and water in Haiti and delivered it to the orphanages. And we would have to lay across the load on the back of the truck to keep it from being stolen. We even went to a warehouse that was full of food, but the earthquake had destroyed it, and the roof was sagging. And the owner of the warehouse said, I'll sell you food, but I'm not going to go in the warehouse to get it. So I said, that's okay, I'll get it. So I was up in the top of the piles of food, and we were having aftershocks. But, you know, I am protected by loving Almighty God. And when it's my time, it's my time. And, you know, flying these planes, you know, the first week we were here, I've been here now, I think it's 18 days. One of the volunteer planes, not one of mine, but one of the volunteer planes flew through a thunderstorm and broke apart. And they found the plane in the ocean, but the 3 people on board died trying to help the Haitian people.
Wow. Yes, I heard that in the news. We thought it was just you know, fake news or something like that. But the official news didn't come out with that. But you know, you're now confirming this for us.
Yeah, I had been flying with them all week. Okay. We'd been sharing missions, and they were going back home to the Dominican Republic and flew through a thunderstorm and were lost at sea. So this is a serious game. Yes, you know, we're having to dodge thunderstorms this time of the year. I just dodged a few right now. But the runway we're landing on is it's a goat field, and there's cattle and goats wandering across it, and we have to fly over it once to get people to move their animals and then come back and land. Yeah.
We saw the one in Jeremy. It was interesting, the landing in Jeremy as well.
Oh, Jeremy's easy. Really? Damarie literally is a goat field. It's dangerous. I had to dodge a calf on takeoff a couple of days ago that had wandered out into the middle of it. But you know, we're holding these little babies and little children that are standing in the rain because they have no cover. The roofs have blown away, and you know, when you're seeing the people that you're feeding, that you're caring for, you know, you're putting some kind of cover over the head, you're seeing with your own eyes, it makes the risk worthwhile.
You have such an interesting story. I should ask you, what gives you the drive to help in such an intensity Haiti, and why? Some people may ask, listening to you.
Well, I've been blessed with resources. God blessed me with significant wealth, and I would like to say that what I do is unselfish or sacrificial, but it's really not. I get more joy out of doing this than I would sitting home on my ranch or on one of my homes on some fancy beach. This is what fulfills me, and it's really my my privilege to be able to meet the needs of those that are less fortunate, that are suffering. And of course, a lot of it has to do with my faith. As a Christian, I know what Jesus did for me, and he said, what you do for the least of others, you do for me. And so I do it because I'm grateful for my forgiveness and salvation and my blessing. But to be honest with you, I also do it because I get great joy out of caring for those that can't care for themselves.
Now I'm going to ask you to give us, not advice, but what's your perspective after the hurricane now? Because you've been flying over, you know the situation, you're firsthand there. So what should we expect for the few days that are coming up, or the next days coming up? And also, way before you know the situation in Haiti, I'm sure you know the election is coming up, you know the situation now. From now to the elections, what should we expect?
What I think the Haitians should do right now is, first of all, the government should declare an emergency. That opens up a lot of food aid and a lot of support. Secondly, the government should demand that the media cover this event. There's no media here. There's no ABC, there's no CBS, there's no CNN. They're not here. They need to demand the media pay attention to this and get the word out. This is a humanitarian disaster right now. As I mentioned, we're about to go from disaster to famine to cholera. And if we don't get media attention, if we don't get help from the world here, then this thing is going to progress. And so let's talk about it, let's get the word out, let's demand attention. Let's do the things necessary to get aid moving, such as declare a disaster. And if we pay attention to this thing, if we get a little bit ahead of it, then we can avert famine and we can avert cholera. But not enough is being spoken about it. Not enough people are aware of it. It's amazing. Here in Port-au-Prince, it's business as usual. But you go about 50 kilometers to the west, and you have families that are trapped on the top of mountains whose crops have been destroyed, whose water has been contaminated. And we're talking about as much as 1 million Haitians right now are at risk for famine and cholera. And nobody in Port-au-Prince seems to know about it, much less in America, where the help should be coming.
Now, let's talk to those Haitians abroad, the Haitian diaspora, let's say, that are watching, listening to this interview. They want to help. They want to come in and help. Of course, out of their heart, they want to help. How could they do so? I mean, how can they help?
Well, Haitians that would like to help could do two things. First of all, they can go online and look at Farah.org. And you'll post this, I'm sure, on the bottom of the deal. And it's an opportunity to not just donate, but to understand what we're doing on the front lines to help these people and to communicate with us. You know, a lot of great Haitian business people have donated food, have worked with us here at the airport. This organization has just been wonderful to support us because they want to care for the Haitian people. And then the second thing they can do is they can contact their politician and encourage their senators and their representatives to acknowledge that this is an emergency and get this to move forward. The Haitian government will declare an emergency sooner or later. They have to. You've got 1 million people with no food until the crops come back 6 months from now. So it's going to happen. It just needs to happen sooner so that we don't have weeks that go by without people being able to feed their families. Or with cholera spreading. I'm calling this the hidden Holocaust. Really? Because the media is not telling the story.
That's strong words here. Let's get to know you a little bit more, David. You've been here. You seem to know a lot about Haiti. You know the food, of course, the good things. What would you tell us, Haitian, about our own country that we might not know?
Yeah. You know, there is a passion for people in Haiti. There's a camaraderie among particularly the educated, those that have some influence. They don't move away to the United States to start their lives. They want to be here. They want Haiti to become the best place it can possibly be. And I've gotten to know a lot of those people and it's a chance to feel that passion. And it's one of the things that keeps me coming back to Haiti. There is a younger group of people, your age, Nancy's age, that believe in the potential for their country. And they're willing to give up a life of ease in the United States in order to stay here and fight for the people of Haiti and the potential of this country. And I think that's an extraordinarily admirable quality that I want to commend you for. And just you being here talking to me today demonstrates that you're part of that committed group of Haitians that
I don't see major organizations down here. I don't see major organizations out in that area. We're the only ones out there. Hero is literally the only one out there in Damarie doing this work. And Damarie is one of the most affected areas where the hurricane went through and devastated the entire town. So we have a bunch of people without homes, without food, without shelter, and in need of medical assistance. So that in itself